Catus, Maximus here, this time with a review of these Taiwanese 9-piece set of triple square impact stubby sockets from Titan. It's a mixture of 1/4 inch, 3/8, and 1/2 inch. I've been figuring out that the reason, and it seems pretty particular with Titan tools recently, is that why some of them are so much blacker than others is just because there's a lot more oil on these. Once you start handling these little sockets, or these other sockets, then they start getting more of a dull color that would be traditional to the carbon finish on impact sockets. 25 bucks, not really a bad price. There's a few of these sets. Actually, there's several of the triple square sets. It seems these days with tool manufacturers, they're just trying to come out with every type of variation. So I kind of like the idea of these, particularly compared to what I had traditionally, which would be this Duralast triple square set. Should say that earlier on, these are particularly used on like Volkswagen brake calipers and Audis. They traditionally have been like this style, and sometimes you do need this style when you need deeper reach. That's kind of why these were like the initial ones sold at auto parts stores, but as more German vehicles started using triple square, more sockets started coming out. Triple square is actually different from 12 point because each of these points is a measured 90 degrees. That's why it's called triple squares, because squares have 90-degree points on them. You can see there's a square, another square, and then another square. And in doing my research, the biggest criticism really of triple squares is that there isn't quite enough depth, and there has been issues with them stripping out, particularly on things like flywheel bolts. Not looking forward to that. So anyway, I like the idea of having kind of two birds with one stone, because with this impact set, not only am I getting some impact versions versus the hand tool versions, they're also quite a bit stubbier. And then there's something else which I think is, it's a quirk of different manufacturers and how they choose to do sizing. What Titan is doing here is they're kind of giving you a larger size in each of the 1/4 inch and the 3/8. What I mean is that the 14 millimeter triple square is, in most sets or many sets, is a 1/2 inch drive socket, and the 8 millimeter triple square tends to be a 3/8 inch socket. And for example, the Duralast I have, the largest of the 1/4 inch drive triple squares was a 6 millimeter, and the largest of the 3/8 is a 12 millimeter. And then for the 14, it's of course 1/2 inch. These are quite a bit shorter, even on the 1/2 inch size. We can see that they are quite a bit shorter. This is the same height as just the socket portion of this by itself, so it's kind of nice to have a slightly longer one, a shorter one, as well as this once again being impact. They certainly seem pretty heavy duty. As far as the sizing on some of these others, it's even more dramatic, or at least it seems, particularly because Duralast has this whole stem sticking out. They didn't quite need to have so much stem, but it certainly is a much more compact socket. Also, apparently on the larger ones, there are, of course, tamper-proof ones, which have a pin in the middle of the bolt to make it more difficult to remove. And it seems that every set that I've seen, the 14, the 16, and the 18, always are compatible tamper resistant. Probably because they figure it's so large that you're not really worried about the strength of the socket, and then it makes it easier if you ever run into those types of fasteners. And I wonder if the larger sizes, it's more common for them to be tamper resistant. So anyway, that's about all there really is to these little Titans. They are pretty neat, and they kind of add a little bit more capability to your sets, just because they come with extra sizes and drive squares that I didn't have earlier. So that's kind of cool as well. And I do like these especially these 1/4 inch ones. That is one short little triple square socket. And I think for 25 bucks, they're offering you a decent deal. And I actually kind of like the idea of this set, because many times these sets, what they'll do is they'll offer you smaller sizes, and like the 2 or 3 large triple squares will be part of a separate item, or a separate set. So I like that they're just including all 9 of the most common sizes that people will run into in just one set, just to make life a little bit easier. So anyway, I thought these little things were cool, and that they were reasonably priced, and adds versatility. And also one of the advantages of also having really shorter, more stubby, compact sockets is the fact that the driving tool is much closer to the head of the fastener. So for instance, when we put this on a ratchet, the line of the handle is now closer to, and the driving force would probably be around the midline of where you have it inserted into the fastener. Anyway, it brings that bar closer to the fastener, so you're delivering your efforts more efficiently. Because of course, when you're using extensions or longer sockets, more of your force is wanting to make the tool rock over rather than actually turn. So I've noticed that with these any type of really short sockets, and do kind of enjoy using them. It's kind of makes a ratchet or breaker bar or anything feel like a box wrench. That kind of direct connection where there just isn't any flex and nothing's really going anywhere, and you're really delivering all your force to rotate the fastener. So anyway, I really appreciate everybody who's been watching and subscribing and commenting. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. Until next time, Catus Maximus out.